I moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. I send the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, cause that's what it takes.
All right, guys, happy Saturday. Johnny Massalorian, what is going on, amigo?
Good evening, Tony D.
Where in the world are you?
So, unfortunately, Mass right now is still languishing away. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Languishing away. Outside of Philadelphia. So I'll just break down real quick so everyone knows. When I planned out this trip, and I was telling T this earlier today, I didn't do as much DD as I should have. And I went and locked myself into a rail pass, which is something that the train service offers, Amtrak, where you can basically take like 10 destinations across the United States. But there's only a certain amount of seats for every train for those rail pass holders to book. They only leave a percentage. And once that percentage is filled up, that's it. You got to wait till the next completely open travel time. Yeah. So once you buy that, you're kind of locked in, right? I can't pay an extra $300 right now just so I can leave tomorrow to go to my next destination. So you have to line everything almost up in advance to make it perfectly happen so you land where you're supposed to land at the date you're aiming for. So right now, I'm going to be off by about 6 total days that I've had to stay back from this trip in order to make everything line up so I could get to the West Coast the date I need to.
So your eventual destination is Vancouver, Canada, but you are at least 6 days behind schedule due to train logistics.
So, yes, Monday afternoon at 12, I leave, and I have a straight train, thank God, to Chicago. Because I have so many bags, every time I switch a train, it's a nightmare because I have 3 big cases for all the camera equipment. I have my desktop computer right now with me in front of me.
Oh, my God.
This is my 24. Yeah. So I'm carrying that with me along with a bag full of clothes. So I have 2 things on my hands and a backpack, 1 stroller on each hand. So I'm trying to make the rest of this trip the least amount of exchanges as possible while still hitting the couple cities I need to hit. So it's been a little rough, Tony, but Monday I'm back on track and I know I'm out of here. I'll be at my destination by the end of next week. Thank you to the Amtrak lady today.
She helped you straighten it all out.
Oh my God. She was amazing because I was like so frustrated. I'm like, I can't get anything to line up. She's like, I'll get you to where you need to go. She's like, let's sit down and figure out how many destinations you have left, how we can get you there. And she did it. And I was like amazed. So thank you to her. Shout out.
All right. So tonight, I'm glad you're okay, first of all, because we were wondering where the hell you been. I did see that you went live the other night the same time I did. So, and I saw that you texted me, I guess, the day before, but I didn't see the text till after. So apologies for that. But here we are. Happy Saturday, guys. We're going to talk about the writers' strike that then morphed into SAG-AFTRA, the actors' unions being added onto that strike. We're going to talk about that first. We're going to also be taking your questions tonight about whatever topics you have and maybe a couple bits of FUD busting if some of those topics come up as well. I don't really think there's anything to talk about in regards to the court case because everything's done, right? The hearing's done. I see people making 10 videos a day about the court case and 5 hour space calls going over the court case. Why? The hearing's done. It's in the judge's hands. Just sit back, be patient. Maybe we'll get an answer from her in July. If she has until the end of September, but we're hopeful there'll be some written opinion in July. We don't know. And then we go from there, right? With whatever she says. So all this wringing of hands, gnashing of teeth, it seems a bit overdone to me by all these clickbaiters trying to keep up the social engagement over something which is done. Now, if we got something new to talk about after the judge's written opinion, then yeah, let's talk about that. The only other thing we might talk about, the question that I keep getting, which is a valid one, there seems to be a lot of confusion over the post reverse split conversion price. So I can bring up my spreadsheet and show you guys what's going to happen. We've been talking about exactly what's going to happen for months here, and people are still, well, I mean, we're both very small channels, Mass. Let's be honest, right? People are very confused about what I'm seeing people thinking it's going to come out of the gate at $40 to $50, which would imply a massive market cap change overnight, and that's just not going to happen. You're not going to see the market cap go up to 5 or 6 billion because the reverse split happened. How many reverse splits have you seen where the moment they hit the switch, the market cap goes up 25-50%? That's not going to work. So we'll talk about that later. Let's talk about the strikes and Mass. I'm going to let you talk about that first while I light up my cigar and take a little sip of my arrogant bastard. I think this might become my brand beer here on the Tony Denaro channel, because that's what people like to call me. Even though, we are here trying to, in an unbiased fashion, help you guys sort through all the clickbait, all the emotions, all the nonsense out there, and tell you what to expect, so that for better or worse, whether it's what you want to hear or not, you can make appropriate decisions for your portfolio. What do you think about the strike, Johnny?
I don't think this is good news. Honestly, this bothers me. This is why I definitely reached out today to Tony. Besides the fact that I'm stuck here a little longer, I said, I reached out to Tony earlier and said, we should hop on tonight and talk to everyone about this, because it's important that we get this matter closed as soon as possible. The longer this goes on.
Are you saying that I didn't call you up and give you a talking point?
No.
You reached out to me to talk about this, right?
Yes. Well, yeah, because
right.
it's, I mean, this to me, T, is concerning. And you know me, if I smell.
and surprise, I shared your concern. I mean, it's funny how we think alike, but we haven't really talked about what each other's thoughts on this are. So keep going. No. Sorry for interrupting.
No, not at all. And it's definitely something that's a little concerning. Now, Tony said, he's seen some people online saying it's going to blow over. Not a big deal. We have movies already in the pipeline all lined up, which all is true, right? But again, no matter what happens with this play, remember, fundamentals now are a condition we have to think about with AMC. I think taking that out of the picture and just imagining an amazing squeeze without taking anything else into consideration, really start thinking about the fundamentals of this company and whether or not this reverse splitting conversion is necessary, knowing that we don't know how long the strike possibly can go on, right? There's no, the writer strike's been going on weeks now. So at some point that begins to catch up with you.
The writer strike's
been going on. The movie industry.
Writer strike's been going on since May.
Right, months.
Yeah,
months,
not just weeks.
And we saw what a huge delay in production did during the pandemic. Everything slows down to a halt almost at the same time, simultaneously, and everyone walking off the set like this. Just a matter of time before it finally catches up with you. So the sooner this is over, the better for AMC shareholders, in my opinion.
You know what? Do you know, did you read all the things that they can't do, the actors, while they're on strike?
Yes. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
They can't do promotions. They can't do red carpet events. They can't do premieres. Basically, no advertising. On top of the fact that all of the projects that were in progress, which if they weren't already impacted by writers, now they're definitely impacted by all the actors having to walk off. Right.
So they're not allowed to promote anything pretty much. So that also puts all their people, their talent staff, their agents, everyone else out of work too, correct?
Yep. I mean, it's going to have wide-reaching implications. And then you go to all the crew that depend on this, and the catering and the transportation. I mean, this is a big deal for the movie industry. But what I wanted to talk about is how ultimately my concern, if it drags out, right? We don't know how long it's going to last. Let's just get that up front. I don't know how long it's going to last. But if it drags out, my concern always is if people are in this play, in this stock, AMC or Cinemark or whatever, Disney, Paramount, any movie industry stock, you saw all of them start going down on Friday, right? When this news came out.
Yep.
Why is that, guys? It wasn't just AMC and Ape that got hit. It was across the board because people are already thinking, big money already thinking about the impacts into next year or beyond, depending on how this goes. Because as projects get delayed, then revenues start going down in the future. And everybody's already walking a thin line of profitability right now. And it doesn't take much to upset the apple cart. So I'm not just going to gloss over this. I'm not just going to, cradle people and say it's all going to be okay. This is critical and critically points out why for AMC, for example, if this extends out for a long time, having access to extra cash becomes important, because now instead of, I think we'll have a positive Q2, but we'll probably lose money in Q3 and Q4 by a little bit. But now it becomes more difficult for me to say we're going to be fine in 2024, because what if we have 2 more money losing quarters right away in 2024 because this stretches out and things get pushed? These are the type of things that keep executives at AMC and Cinemark up at night, worrying about the what ifs that affect your fundamentals, your financials, your balance sheet, your cash balance. And I'm going to keep on hammering this home, even though no one likes to hear that cash matters, the balance sheet matters. You need to think about this stuff. It does absolutely matter. Now, if you're only going to be in AMC for 30 more days, it might not matter. It might have some short-term impact, like we saw on Friday. But if you're planning on holding a stock like this for a long time, you need to pay attention to what is going on with the actors and writers strike, and pick a side and support them. Hopefully you pick the working people, not the fucking millionaires and billionaires and 1%ers that are running the movie studios. What do you think about all that, Johnny? Am I all washed up worrying about the long-term profits of theater companies?
No. I mean, look, it's irresponsible if we don't talk about every aspect that could have a major sway on this stock price in the future, no matter how far out we're talking, because we just have no idea how this thing is going to end up. So if we don't do this, a little bit of speculation here, if we don't talk about issues that are going on in real time, we're not doing our duty to, I think, our audience and people that are in this play with us, people who have a lot of money invested and tied up in this stock. We wouldn't be doing right by everyone if we just put our heads in the sand and said, this is just going to blow over, no big deal, who cares, the company will be fine. It's something that we definitely should at least discuss and bring up and make people aware of, and this is major.
This is not just the big name actors, right? I think everybody thinks, oh, well, Brad Pitt, he's already a multimillionaire. I don't care. Guys, the bulk of the acting industry is barely hanging on. They barely scratch out a living. The people that make big bucks in acting is 1% or less. So you've got all of the actors and all of the small parts and all of the, the one-liners on a TV show or a movie are affected. And those people are affected by bad pay also. And then you have this whole AI thing. Did you read up on the AI thing, Johnny?
So I just saw a little bit about it that they were discussing. I saw they said that some of this was about AI, right? That among sticking points for both actors and writers are residuals from streaming services and the use of artificial intelligence. Yeah, I guess it's a big part of it. What specifically are they talking about?
They want people to come in and they want to scan they're going to pay you for a day. They're going to scan your likeness and then put it in their database, and they want you to give them rights to your image and your likeness in perpetuity.
In perpetuity?
Yeah. So they have license to your image to use in background shots or to create, characters for whatever project in the future.
Any way they want.
And who knows if other studios could be allowed to use you if you've been licensed to one studio. Like,
can they sell the rights to your image to Fox? Can they sell it to Warner Brothers?
This is a huge deal for not just the writers worried about scripts being written by AI, but for the actors also. This is a big deal. This is a valid complaint. And I urge you guys to get more involved applying social media pressure to the big movie studios and the streaming services to resolve these issues fairly for the working class people in the industry.
T, did you ever watch on FX they had the show Sons of Anarchy? Did you ever happen to catch that show?
You're gonna talk about Ron Perlman?
But that was a little crazy.
Tell us for those who haven't seen it.
So if you haven't seen it yet, he put a tweet out or an Instagram post where he came out and talked specifically about a CEO in Hollywood who makes $27 million a year, which, if anyone doesn't know, Bob Iger came back to Disney for exactly $27 million a year. And he basically told them that we know where your house is, mother effer. And there's other ways that people lose their house besides it being sold or not being able to pay their mortgage. And then he had to take that down immediately and put an apology saying he doesn't call for violence. And oh man, yeah, he stepped in it big time.
We know
what a nut.
We know where you live, and we know who said we're gonna starve them out till they lose their apartments, till they lose their homes. I want to know what movie executive said that.
It was well, he's talking about Iger.
You think it was Iger?
Well, he said $27 million paycheck, and that's what Iger came back to Disney for.
Okay.
He came back 2 years, $54 million, so $27 million a year. Yeah, he's got to be. Yeah, there's no one else. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Speaking of Iger, do you want to do a very quick segue into Snow White and the seven magical creatures?
All right, so I thought this was a joke, but by the way, T, did you see that the stars of Oppenheimer walked out of the premiere today?
I think it was on Friday. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, Friday. I'm sorry, Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Thursday.
Home.
Yeah, in London.
Yeah, they had to fly home. So tell us about Snow White and the seven magical creatures.
All right, let's just pull the picture up, because I think it's really, if you don't pull the picture up.
Do you want me to pull it up?
There's no way you can pull it up
without hammering your stuff.
I should be okay. I should be all right. Hold on. Give me 1 sec, T.
While he's pulling that up, I'm going to look for any questions about the writer's strike or the actor's strike. You can drop them in the chat, because I haven't been watching the chat. Are you going to do a screen share?
Okay. Yeah. Let me just. I'm pulling it up on Twitter right now. Although this is how I lost the stream the other night, so keep your fingers crossed. Goddamn internet.
What's up, Tindy Time? Anya says, realistically, how long can writers and actors go without pay? For most of them, Anya, not very long. For the bulk of them.
Good point. Okay. It should be pulled up right now.
Got it.
Yeah. So this is the tweet. Yeah, this is the pic here. The 7 politically correct companions. But I don't think that's not what they're calling them now. That's just that's what,
Can you
what's amazing to me.
Can you make that full screen, that photo?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, if I just tap on it, right? Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
So only one of them looks like a dwarf.
So that is true. The rest of these people are not physically challenged height-wise. They're all normal. What the guy in the very back is doing, I have no idea what's going on there. He's got some kind of headdress on, and wow, yeah, this is something else. Look at the comments here on the right. It says, your anger is silly. Shouldn't you be more mad Hollywood thinks people? Oh my God. It's really crazy.
And that's a Disney film, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, T, we were just saying that they've lost $900 million, correct? In the last 8. Did you hear that number, T, recently?
No.
8 films. So last 8 releases from Disney Pictures have lost a combined, I think, $900 million total. And, you know, looking at that, I saw a number the other day, and now there's some debate about this number, but, you know, I know me and you have talked before about the parks, how the parks do better, bringing a lot of money for Disney. Even if the films are losing money, Disney can kind of, you know, still make it because the parks do so well for them. But I saw the other day that the wait times on the rides at Disney are half right now compared to last year. So a 50-minute ride last year, it will take you 25 minutes to get to the same line. Now, I guess there's a lot of debate about, is that because they have raised the prices so high and that the people are a less number of people are going, so less people in line? But at some point, you can't make up that much difference from losing, I would think, all the clientele you do by raising the price so high. I would think eventually that's going to catch up to you too, don't you think?
Yep, absolutely. I put the chat up, so I want to see, now that we've talked briefly about the writer's strike and the actor's strike, I want to see your comments up on the screen. What do you guys think about this in general? Like, if you're holding AMC stock or APE or both, are you worried about it impacting the price in the short term like we saw at the end of last week? Are you worried about that cascading in the next week or over the next month? Or are you worried about the impact in 2024? Or you just think that it's not going to be an issue at all because AMC has credit cards and popcorn?
And
Someone,
if you're holding Disney stock, are you pissed? Just throw that out there. If anyone does own Disney,
someone responded to my tweet or one of my community tab posts and said, "Don't worry about the strikes. We have popcorn in Walmart." Like, just at face value, and we don't even know what type of profit AMC is generating from that. And I mean, we're bringing in $2.7 billion in box office for the industry. I don't think that our share of that and the concessions is going to be made up by a few bags of popcorn in Walmart. So if you're hinging your argument on, well, at least we got credit cards, or at least we got popcorn in Walmart, I don't even know what to say. Like you're kidding yourself. If the movies were to take a major hit into next year, and you're banking on popcorn and Walmart saving us, you're selling yourself up a river.
T, what was it? You broke up for a second there. What was it that you said about Walmart and the popcorn?
I was saying that someone commented on my tweet about concerns about the writers' strike, that it's okay if we don't have movies because we have popcorn in Walmart.
Oh no, you can't.
Like
that's not a fair trade-off.
Like that's going to save the day. We don't even know what the profit is on the popcorn yet. Hopefully we will in a few weeks, but I don't think it's going to offset the billions in box office revenue and the concessions that come with that.
No, I don't believe so. By the way, speaking of which, when you did your assessment of Q2 earnings the other day, you didn't factor in anything with popcorn receipts or anything, right? Just because we have no idea what the distribution was like.
What if the popcorn what if the popcorn net profit was $10 million, right? That's a drop in the bucket. Now there's people that have wildly different numbers, but where do I start? How do I mean, we have no idea until they tell us the data, how to gauge what the net profit is off of that. So I opted not to include it. And I think it will be, it's good to have any additional net profit, but I don't know how to size it. So, and I don't think it's going to be as big as people think net profit wise, but anything that adds to net profits is good. And the more established that brand becomes and the wider the distribution, once we get outside of Walmart, of course, it can build into something. But I'm not benchmarking my whole AMC investment around a couple bags of popcorn in Walmart.
No, and I think it's important for people to understand when you're talking about the movie theaters, and this is really maybe something a lot of people, may disagree with, but their bread and butter literally is the concessions, right? That's where they make their money.
It's like 60% profit. 60% profit margin in the theater on concessions. At Walmart, we're thinking it's about 25% for a bag of popcorn. So you don't want to lose those tickets and concessions in the theater, because guess what? You still got all the damn bills. You got the rent, you got the air conditioning, you got the employees. You can't have less movies because of a writer's strike or an actor strike. It will cripple this company.
Yeah.
You're not going to make it up on 25% margins at a Walmart. You're not.
We just think about where we just had to come from after the pandemic, when we had no movies coming out all at the same time. Look at the position it put the company in. We're still digging our way out of it. So there's no way we can. What are you laughing at?
Bear Trap says the gold mine will save us.
Gold mine will save us. I saw that. What an asshole.
No, it's funny though. It's funny though.
No, I know. I'm kidding. It is funny. It is funny. It is funny. But the strike, not so much.
Oh man.
You want to talk about the gold mine or no?
Since he brought it up, did you have a chance to watch my Highcroft video?
No, I didn't. Go ahead, talk about it though. Is it something I need to talk to you about off the phone? No, right?
I mean, the video's out there, and let's just set the table here. What I put out in my Highcroft video is conspiratorial, and it's conjecture, right? It's my best guess. There's no guarantee that what I said last week will happen, but I've been tracking, Johnny, 30 different companies that made announcements about hiring Wes Christian, and most of them have one thing in common. They needed to raise cash through a share offering, or they needed to dump convertibles or warrants. Strange timing around all of that they all hired Share Intel. And I feel like there's this scam going where we need to do something to get the share price up. So let's put out an announcement about share intel. And if that doesn't work, we'll follow it up with another announcement about West Christian to get that to reel in those retail investors and get that price moving up. So then we can dump our shares onto retail that thinks we're actually doing something. Yeah, I see all the clickbaiters. They couldn't wait. Oh, Highcroft hired share intel, but they fucking sunk the hook in these guys' cheek the second the thing went out. And this is what I want to train you guys to. You're so worried about Adam Aaron tricking you, and then as soon as Highcroft puts out a share intel thing, you're back on the hook. All these same people that are complaining about Adam Aaron bit the fucking bait from Diane Garrett. Like, fucking learn, people. You are being hooked by all of these companies that are putting out this share intel thing because it hasn't done a damn thing in the past year as far as unearthing anything, right? Now, in general, about 2/3 of those 30 companies that hired them got a decent spike in price on the news. 1/3 of them had no spike in, they just weren't followed enough on social media to affect their price. But all of those ones that went up almost without fail came all the way back down or lower after a little bit of run up. And look, if you need a run up in Highcroft from 30 cents to $1, that might be a good thing. So maybe that's why the clickbaiters are tweeting it out and commenting. But if you need a run up in Highcroft to $3 because your bag holding, you got excited a year ago and bought it at $3, I don't know if you'll get that. But my conspiracy, Johnny, was I know that they have $300 million plus prospectus on Highcroft that quietly got released that no one's been talking about in early June. $300 million worth of shares. That's an additional 700 million shares on top of the 200 million float.
Wow.
All right.
So we're almost at 1 billion shares.
Yes. That is filed. It's ready to go. Now, what do they need next? They need a FOMO run. And they need it before they might do it before the reverse split. They might do it after the reverse split. They have till October 2nd, Highcroft, to implement their reverse split, and that is coming. It's probably going to be a 1 for 25. But my conspiracy, just like I'm not sparing Highcroft from the same thing I've said about all these other companies. This whole share intel thing is a scam to lure easily tricked retail investors. And you're out there. I know you're watching because you already tweeted it and you made your community posts. And you get mad at Adam Aaron, but you give all these other CEOs a pass. They're all doing the same thing to you. They are tricking you to dump something on you. What I said was, now that we know that pattern is there, if Highcroft ends up in the 2/3 that gets a little run up, then for smart people, if the run up happens, you can trade off of that. Don't be tricked into thinking it's going to stay lofty for a long time, right? If you got in Highcroft at 30 cents and you have an opportunity to exit or at 60 or 99 or $2, if it runs, then take the damn profits, because Highcroft's not going to be in production mining for over a year. They have no revenue right now, and they won't be having any revenue for a while. They're exploring. And then they have to build a milling plant, which is why they need to raise that money. That's why that prospectus got filed, right? They have to raise money.
So you think so your speculation here is, and conspiracy theory is that they're using this to create a FOMO run?
Yes.
Okay.
Whether or not that FOMO run happens, I can't say, right? That depends on social media engagement. And boy, they were out there in force at the end of last week, trumpeting the share intel thing. The attempts to get the FOMO run started are easily seen to anybody with their eyes open.
Yeah.
I got people dropping in my comments on not even related videos talking about Highcroft share intel. Like, I can tell when the bots are at work. And
yeah, that something's up, right?
Yeah.
That something's up. Yeah,
and
something doesn't
that's
smell
really
right.
what kind of keyed me in. Like, when I got videos that have nothing to do with Highcroft and bots are dropping in saying Highcroft just hired share intel,
Yeah.
Highcroft to the moon. When I know from my research that Highcroft has no revenue and is not mining and won't be for a year or two, the social media pump bots are in effect. What I can't tell you is if it will catch. But if it catches, there's an opportunity to make a trade. And the 400% deal that I called out was, if you're a gambler and you buy a couple call options and it goes to $1, that's like about a 400% gain. If it were to run before August 18th, it was a call option play. So I'm never against runs, never against momentum. I don't hate any stocks. What I hate is people saying, "Oh, we got the shorts are being squeezed," when the short interest is 4.5%. Just ridiculous statements like that. And when I see things like that, I know that the data disagrees with what the bots are saying, then I think that an attempt is underway to sway people. And we're very small audiences, Mass. We're not going to prevent a FOMO run by talking about this, but we can help attune people to keep an eye out for it so they can make money along the run up if they see it happening. Now, for all I know, Highcroft topped out at 42 cents or whatever, and it's going to come right back down. But if you see the volume start increasing and the price start going up, then I think the FOMO run is underway. So we'll find out. I could be wrong. Like I said, about two-thirds run up, 1/3 don't.
By the way, before I forget, did you see the latest numbers on, and this is kind of going off topic for a second, but the latest income tax numbers year over year from last year?
No, what you got?
So Q2 was 1.6 last year. This year, I'm sorry, 2.1 last year. This year, 1.6. So 20% drop off in a year as far as income tax.
Federal income tax receipts?
Fell off 20% from last year.
Did they say why?
So 1.6 trillion, 2.1 trillion last year, 1.6 trillion. All the stimulus money has been sucked out of the economy, they said. It's this whole thing with the economy, the back and forth between people, even just on the internet with YouTube and the people who say, the chicken littles, and then people that are saying that we're going to be in a bull market for the next 6 months. Other people saying the Great Depression is going to start tomorrow morning, or it already started yesterday. It's like the amount of opinions out there and frauds and snake oil salesmen is just at a fever pitch, it seems to me, with the economy right now. They're all over the place.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Maggie, thank you very much.
Wow, Maggie, thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. Much love. Yes, it's going towards our trip. It's not a nice trip. Believe me, there's nothing glorious about where I am on the outskirts of Philadelphia. I promise you, you're not missing anything. I am ready to get on the road so bad you have no idea. Monday can't come soon enough. But thank you, Maggie.
What other questions do you have? Mexican Silverback says, Tony, how dare you think Mullen CEO David Missouri is scamming his investors by hiring Wes Christian? And then he says, LOL. Yeah, Mullen is another one. And like I said, I'm tracking 30 different stocks that hired share intel over the last year. So I see a pattern, and I'm going to call the pattern out. And I've been calling it out since a year ago when Created and GNS and GTII, all these companies hired share intel a year ago. Nothing happened except they got a nice squeeze, and all the clickbaiters and folks ballyhooed it and said it was the best thing since sliced bread, yet nothing happened in the last year with these companies. They're all still a financial wreck. And because their fundamentals suck, the prices came right back down. But if they run up and you like playing momentum, there is always opportunities and you should play it. Just don't believe the bullshit about short squeezes and all that. Get your money, get in, get out.
I just got to say real quick, Tony, before I forget that the support that I've gotten so far from the community out there, I feel very lucky that we have such a amazing community that really helps each other. You guys helping the creators such as myself and Tony with the super chats and that kind of stuff. I think it's a very special thing, and the group of people that we have assembled, at least in these chats that me and Tony run and have on our channels, are just extremely generous, and I thank all of you guys just for tuning in, period, and sticking with us this whole time. I just gotta say that.
And I just want to say, like, as far as my thoughts on Highcroft, if you don't like it, go suck a dick, because I'm not here for friends. I'm not here to add people to my channel. There are plenty of clickbaiters who have never once opened up the financials or the fundamentals of Highcroft that have been lying to you for the last year, telling you to buy it, telling you they're buying it, while I've been telling you to fucking wait. And have you gotten one apology from any of these people that told you at $3, $2, $1.50 to buy Highcroft, who are just now realizing in July 2023 that this company is not mining, who think that by selling some silver coins that the company is going to do well? You are being fucking lied to. Nobody's apologizing to you. I've been very consistent in my message from day one. I don't apologize for it. I have been 100% correct. And the price exactly matches what I have been telling you is going to happen. If you don't like the truth, don't watch my channel and don't watch Massalorian when I'm on with him, because I'm not going to hide the truth from you. And it's going to be painful for some of you to hear, because you prefer those sweet, sweet lies. Go stay on the clickbait channels. We are 10 grit here. We are raw. We are the unfiltered, unvarnished truth. And if you don't like it,
just so you guys know, I mean,
go ahead, Johnny.
Shoot. I lost you for a sec there, but me and Tony, we try to when one of us reaches out to the other, depending on what the happen topic of the day seems to be, or whatever is relative. We think about these things before we come on and just talk to you guys, right? We try to understand that people have a lot of money at risk in this play, as do ourselves, and there's a lot riding on this, so we take it serious when we come on here. And I think keeping the bullshit out of it for you guys as much as we humanly can, in the long run, will be better. Even though it may seem bland and boring right now, the facts will help, keep you from going astray, I think, and trying to keep you focused on the prize at the end of the tunnel that hopefully we're getting to, right? That we're working towards. And that's all we can do right now. To giving you guys any specific information or positive reinforcement only will go so far with this play when you're talking about the stock market and the gamble that is when you risk your money in it.
And retail has a really bad problem, almost a sickness of wanting to invest in companies that have no revenue, like Highcroft and Mullen, and think that it's going magically to the moon. Guys, you saw what happened to Mullen with their massive dilution, and now they're about to do back-to-back reverse splits. Highcroft is in the same boat at this point. Highcroft is not a total shit company, right? They are sitting on a lot of gold and silver. I've covered that many, many times, but they are not pulling it out of the ground, and they need to build a milling plant that's going to cost $300 to $700 million that they don't have. So they need to raise money. So you're going to be diluted on a company that has no revenue. I want you to mentally prepare for that so that later you don't go blame Diane Garrett and Adam Aaron for not telling you the truth. It's all right there in the fundamentals, in the financial statements, in the disclosures. Everything that I cover is straight from their documents. I'm not making stuff up. I'm informing you what the company is saying because you don't have time to read it and no one else bothers to tell you. So don't blame me if it's not popular or pleasing to your ears. I'm literally telling you stuff that the company has in their 10 Qs so that you don't have to waste the time to go do it. And I don't sugarcoat it. I tell you exactly straight up. Diane Garrett's not going to tell you about this stuff until she needs to. Right now, she needs you to bid the price up. She'll spring the milling plant thing on you months or a year from now. But if you watch my channel, you've known about it, you know, way in advance of everybody else. So the whole point is you have time to be patient to buy Highcroft. If you really want to own it, I'd wait for after the reverse split, after the dilution, and closer to the point where they're ready to actually start mining. You got a long wait. How long do you want to hold a company that has no revenue? How long do you want to keep buying the dip? Or is it smarter just to wait? If you love Highcroft, look, I want Highcroft to be successful. AMC has an investment in it. And when Highcroft price goes up, that helps AMC. Of course, I want it to be successful, but I also don't want you to lose money in the meantime. Juicy's got a crush on Diane Garrett. CPA says, any thoughts on, oh, I like that name, CPA. Any thoughts on AMC ownership of NCMI in the Chapter 11 bankruptcy? I have not been following the Chapter 11 of NCMI. A noisy Corax has been reporting on it, so go check out his channel. AMC has a long-time partnership with other theaters in NCMI. And I'm not going to claim to be much of an expert on NCMI other than knowing we get a distribution on a once-a-year basis, and AMC tends to sell that distribution once they get it. I haven't seen that we've sold ours yet. So, and I'm not following the Chapter 11. I saw Corax's video. I don't even remember what it said. There's so many bigger things going on with the AMC needs to worry about, like box office revenues, that things like that, while interesting to me, I haven't been keeping up with. The court case was sucking up a lot of my time. Following Mullen and Bed Bath & Beyond was sucking up a lot of my time. As those things wind down, I'll have more free time. And I will dig into the NCMI bankruptcy thing. Red Star says Mullen and Highcroft 2026 to 2030. Yeah, if Highcroft gets the milling plant built, and I think you guys know they had leach pads, right? And they were scraping ore off the top of out of that hole, taking it to the leach pads and leaching out the gold and silver. Well, they got a shit ton more of gold and silver under the ground, but it's a different type of ore. It's bound up in a different type of ore, and they need to grind it and mill it. And so to extract the full potential out of Highcroft mine, they're going to need to build a milling plant, and that doesn't come cheap. It's a building, it's permits, it's massive equipment. I was going to do a video on it, but I didn't want to depress people a year ago to show you the type of equipment that goes in a milling plant. And it's really just way too early to talk about that. But once when they're doing the expiration right now, why are they doing it really? Because they want to be able to justify to the market, to investors, to retail, we found X, Y, and Z on our core samples. Therefore, we have high confidence that it is a good use of money to build a milling plant. That's what they're doing. That's why they're exploring. That is the only reason they're exploring, to justify the expense of this multi-$100 million milling plant that they're going to want to build. As long as the core samples and the expiration comes in good, then they're going to come to you, us, and say, here's what we found. Here's our study, our pre-feasibility study. We think we need to spend $600 million building a milling plant. And then we'll be able to generate revenues over the next 20 years. So that's, if the drilling exploration program does not justify a milling plant, then the story for Highcroft becomes really problematic. Now you've got a mine that can't economically pull and process ore. And I don't need to say how that turns out for your investment. If they can't economically do it, then you're going to be sitting on an investment until gold and silver prices get much higher than they are right now, so that they can do it economically. So it's a bit of a speculative play. I would be patient with it. And I think that you can wait for a better entry at some point over the next year if you really love Highcroft. And I hope it turns out fantastic, because AMC spent $28 million, and I'd hate for that money to go to waste. And I know a lot of people are, all of you that are holding, I sold my Highcroft about a month ago. The last little bit I had bought around 60 cents or whatever, I sold it at 50 cents. When I saw that prospectus, I was like, yeah, I'm out. No revenue, 3-4x dilution. I'm out for the moment. Johnny, you got sound?
Yeah, I should. I just
right.
look. As a holder of AMC, I hope Highcroft is gonna start pulling stuff out of the ground soon. The sooner the better. But like you said, the whole thing with share and tell, we just haven't seen the results yet. I wish we had an example to go by to show that there is something that comes to that, or something like that will come of that. But right now, we just don't have anything to go by.
I'm going to tell you guys, I've said this before, but I know a lot of y'all don't watch me on a regular basis. I talked to somebody at one of those companies that hired Share Intel, and they told me in confidence that basically the only information they're getting is, yeah, they looked at the FTD report, and there were a couple days where it was really high. Okay. We can see all that, Johnny. We can see FTD reports, right? If that is all that Share Intel is providing as far as value, it is definitely a scam. Because we can see that. That's public data. We know that the FTDs get high on some days. I want some company CEO to tell me, we dug into the level 2 data, we dug into trade tickets, we dug into something. The other thing that Wes Christian is getting on to people about is the dumpster lenders, right? We're suing our lender for a bad deal. Yeah, well, you knew about that bad deal, Mr. CEO, when you signed the convertible. You don't need it. Why are you trying to sue them after the fact? You knew what you were walking into. Who was that? I think it was GNS that was suing their lenders. One of them. Anyways. And the people are going to say, oh, well, Wes Christian, they can't talk about it. It has to be a non-disclosure agreement. Okay, well then what is the point? Why are you excited? What is it going to uncover? How is it going to expose anybody if they can't talk about it? Why are you so excited if they can't talk about it? Basically, we haven't seen shit in the last year from Share Intel or Wes Christian. So If you're prepared to wait a couple, 2, 3, 4 years, fine. I have no problem with that. Just say that. I'm happy they hired Share Intel, but I realize we might not know anything for years, if ever. I don't understand this cheerleading for Share Intel because it hasn't done anything yet for any shareholder. Hasn't exposed anything. Hi, babe. We're live right now. You want to come join us?
Did you just get live?
Yeah.
Really? Why? Because you didn't have to be here?
No. Johnny, help me out here. Scarlett's wondering why I'm live on a Saturday night.
Especially.
Johnny, you still there? Babe.
Yeah. I was just listening. I was catching up to what you were saying. It was a little bit on delay. As far as the Share Intel, I think we both spoke to someone at that time, didn't we? By the way, say hi to Scarlett for me.
Massalorian
I think we
says
both
hello.
spoke to someone around that time.
I was wanting to see if you could do the foot.
No, not right now, babe. I'll talk to you when I'm done, though.
How long are you going to let you?
Maybe another hour. I love you.
An hour I can deal with.
All right. She says an hour she can deal with, Johnny.
All right. Okay. I can stick with you for an hour.
She just
thank
got
you,
home.
Scarlett.
She just got home
So,
from buying her pet some food, so she didn't know I was live streaming tonight.
Okay. But yeah, the Share Intel thing. I think back around that time, we both had spoke to people in that area, in that space, right, and gotten the same thing. We heard from them that sometimes these CEOs don't like the info we come back with. There was a number of things that were some red flags that were thrown up, right, at that time, I think.
Yeah, I remember
And not
that
mention
now.
any names or anything. Yeah. Okay. So, and I know me and T talked about that at length for a couple weeks because, we were trying to debate whether this was something that was a viable option or something that, that's worth having it be looked into. But looking back historically, we had nothing but we had one bad report that we got. I think out of everything we could find, there was one really a nothing burger suit that I think got flipped on them or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, Tony, but we looked into it pretty hard back then, and it just didn't seem like it was anything that was going to help us. And I don't see why anything's changed about that.
I'll close out my thoughts on Share Intel by saying, if I am incorrect, and if we ever get anything from them of value that exposes malfeasance, illegal naked shorting, yada, 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 I will issue a full apology and I will push Share Intel for any company that I'm in from here till the end of time. Right?
Yeah. Free advertising.
I have no problem being incorrect. I hope I'm incorrect. What I'm saying right now is there are way too many clickbaiters pushing this Share Intel thing on no results. And I don't like that. It's
no results. That's the key word, Tony, right?
It's bait for retail, and that shit pisses me off. And it even pisses me off more that all the people that are mad at Adam Aaron took the fucking bait again on Share Intel.
And let's just say this one thing, right? I don't think Share Intel is a scam or anything like that. I think they legitimately, the services they provide seem legitimate. I mean, they didn't seem like they were trying to pull a fast one on. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, it's the companies.
Like
it's the companies that you let retail use their imagination to build it into something that it's not, right? And then I see Diane Garrett saying, "Oh, well, I wish I could pull up her exact words. Can you pull that up, Johnny? Can you go to Highcroft's website?" I mean, basically, legitimately said, "We see evidence of naked shorting and market manipulation." It was shocking to me. Like, your short interest is like 5%, and your price is being run down because you have no revenue. There's a perfectly logical, fundamental reason to understand why Highcroft price got beat down. And are the shorts piling on? Probably so. But what is your answer to the shorts? You have no revenue. Like it's not a bad short. I'm not short Highcroft. I don't short any company. But would you blame a short for going after a Mullen or a Highcroft that has no revenue? Until you change the fundamentals, they're going to be on your tail. And as retail traders, you need to be aware of that so you don't keep buying the dips while it keeps dipping. Save your fuel, save your money for when the fundamentals change. Maggie, I did not forget about you on Palantir. Thank you. That'll be one of the first videos coming out this week. And I know Massalorian's going to be excited to finally hear my thoughts on Palantir too.
Yeah, we've talked about it. Me and Tony have thrown it back and forth. We've thrown the ticker back and forth like a volleyball. We haven't really settled down and talked. We've never really sat down and have a conversation about it, Tony, right? We've just kind of kicked it back and forth. We're going to have to do that sooner than later. We're going to have that chat.
Yeah, I was saying on my live stream the other night, Johnny, like now that the lawsuit is over and we're waiting on the judge's decision, I took last week to get a lot of stuff done, just personal things. I had 2 doctor's appointments and I got my eye appointment done that I haven't done in 2 years. So it was nice to have 1 week just to catch up on life. But there are a lot of other tickers that I want to be providing coverage on and get those deep dive videos out. You know, it's not a simple matter, as you know, to do a real video. It's easy to do a clickbait video, just turn on the camera and talk some bullshit, but to provide people some real meaningful information that they can use over the next year that comes from the company, because they don't want to read, you know, not everyone wants to read 100 pages of documents going back a year and analyze the financial statements. That's what I do. That takes some time. So Palantir is on tap for early this coming week. Many others.
We should do a Palantir live stream. I
Yeah.
think that would be a good idea.
Yeah, maybe you can tear apart my video once I put it out.
No. Just we could have a back and forth. I think it would be a good company to talk about because, you know, I have some, I might have some different insights as far as like, you know, them using their tech being used, what I think is going to be used for this globalist economy. You know, I know this is a big conspiracy theory, but I believe Palantir is going to be one of those prime middlemen that countries around the world will use their technology in order to implement the type of information gathering that governments want to collect. Governments want this information. They want to have access to it. Palantir is by far one of the top names in that industry, period, especially when it comes to getting government contracts, especially when it comes to getting U.S. government contracts. And whether you agree with their political aspects or not, we're talking about the money aspect of it, right? I don't want to get into the political aspects of it. We're just trying to talk about the stock price, where it could possibly go compared to where it is right now, right? And what new things are coming in the pipeline as far as their retail end of this, because that is the big space that Palantir has been trying to get into, right? They've been trying to get into retail and shopping, the shopping experience, and really honing in on what the consumer is purchasing. So when that starts to happen, when we start to see that going into the consumer field, I think you'll really see the money start rolling in.
Eric dropped a comment. He said, Tony, you've lost your motivation. Something about, what did he say? The fraud is overwhelming. The fraud is overwhelming, guys, right? No disagreement, I think, from myself, and I'm sure not from Massalorian either, that there is fraud in the market. Do you think there's fraud in the market, Johnny?
1,000%.
Yeah. Don't ever misconstrue me not wanting you guys to lose money. And don't twist that into something where you're thinking, I don't think there's market manipulation. There's absolutely market manipulation, shorting, ticker, trades that are not marked correctly. Look at all the fines that these companies get handed by the SEC, but nobody is on our side to stop any of it. And what is against us? Clickbaiters who put out a bunch of bullshit that don't read financials or fundamentals, that just rah-rah and cheer you, which is fine. When a ticker has momentum, I want you to play the momentum. What I also want you to do is not listen to their fucking price targets from these goofballs, because they don't know what they're talking about, and they create bag holders. If you had to listen to the amount of people I've got to listen to on a daily basis that are so underwater on dozens and dozens and dozens of tickers that they've been tricked into by the clickbaiters over the last couple of years, you might understand where I'm coming from. I 100% agree there's market manipulation, but a lot of the manipulation is from people on social media that don't have your best interests at heart. And so they pump stuff for views. They pump stuff with no idea of what they're talking about, and you get suckered into stuff. So although my message is not popular, I'm more motivated to repeat the message to you, to wait for a good entry, get in early, get out on momentum, take your profit, and move on to the next play. We all want market change. We all want to see the bad actors gotten rid of and the rules and regulations change. But guys, this is a decade-long effort, 20-year-long effort, a lifelong effort. So quit expecting that someone's going to come pull you into the lifeboat from the SEC next week, and start learning to trade and stop listening to the clickbait, and don't buy things on run-ups. And then I won't have to sit here and sound so harsh. But God, if you had to listen to as many people as I do that are so underwater on so many different tickers, it would make you sick. And I'm sick of seeing people being lied to and tricked and given bad information. I would prefer, as I've said in many live streams, that you guys start looking for companies that actually have profits on the income statement and allocate only a small portion of your trading portfolio to money-losing plays. These non-revenue or negative earnings plays. We got a bad problem in retail trading of people YOLOing their life savings into companies with no revenue or negative revenue for years. You're probably going to lose your money if you can't break that habit, unless you get lucky. And we all get lucky from time to time. We catch a short seller over the barrel, like with GameStop and AMC, and GNS had a run up. Cosmos had that lucky run up where they screwed up the reverse split. Yes, run ups happen from time to time. But for every one of those, there's 10 other tickers people are bag holding. And, not everybody can afford to be in every play. And if you want to be in all the plays, that's a okay strategy too. It's picking one and falling in love with it. And then what if you picked the one that didn't work out? You got to spread your risk out. The easiest way to minimize that risk, obviously, is pick profitable companies. But in that bucket of very, very risky companies, if you're counting just on one, you've even narrowed your odds even more. Let me get Johnny back in here. Did you have to reboot or what?
No, just had to pop back off for a second, reload the page. I saw 1796 Patriot. By the way, Lupe, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Much love, much love. Says pumpers start buying before they start pumping and sell before the price gets to the pump price, right? How many times have we seen that happen out there in the last 2 years? Somebody gets on there, they're already well invested into the stock, starts pumping it, it gets action, and then next thing you know, it moves a little bit, and then out of control price targets are named and listed and labeled, and next thing you know, we have 5,000 retail investors holding the bag on a ticker. We've seen it happen numerous times, and I think that pointing it out is not being confrontational. It is trying to pass along the message of what we're seeing, right? What out there is being misleading and maybe disingenuous.
I'm going to keep on saying this. I want you guys to play the momentum plays. If you get in early, if you got in early, beautiful. Make sure you're taking profits as it runs up. You know, if you guys can get in the habit of doing that and stop buying stuff at the top of the run-ups or 4 days into a run-up where it's just about to top tomorrow, and then you're scared to sell because the what do the clickbaiters say, Johnny? Well, the chart still looks good. Maybe in a few days it's going to turn again, but they never do, right? They just keep on going down, 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 and they trick people into bag holding. This is the sickness that I want to help people recognize, improve on, and improve your chances of getting in and out of trades profitably. I know it's not popular. It's not a popular message, but you know, we've built up a good core audience of people that are sick of it. And I hope every live stream and every video to add a couple more. And if that doesn't include you, you don't like that, you know, then I get it. That's fine. There's, for every Tony Denaro, there's 100 clickbaiters that'll tell you whatever you want because they're more interested in views and clicks and money. And I don't care about that stuff. I'm just a trader turning on a camera to share my thoughts. I'm not here for YouTube. Johnny, what are you here for?
I mean, I got in this play a long time ago for the hope of a short squeeze, right? And now this has developed into something completely different 2.5 years down the road. I have completely changed my entire mindset about this. I am waiting to see how this is going to play out. I went chasing a non-story 2 weeks ago, or the end of last week, going down to the courthouse. I mean, it's just the craziness has gotten to a whole nother level. I never thought we'd be in this place where I would be going down to Wilmington, Delaware, because, you know, in the Chancery Court there's a case against the company I hold the largest position in my portfolio. You know, I'm so jaded by the entire process so far. You know, I don't have time to deal you guys any bullshit or clickbait. None of us have the time to sit there and watch it either.
Since you brought up the court, I'm going to bring up my arbitrage and post-conversion spreadsheet. But before I do that, I want to talk about the court case for just 1 second.
Go for it.
A couple things. Chancery Daily's not on Twitter anymore. I recognize that some people are wondering what's going on. She hates Elon Musk, right? And she's been almost, in my opinion, sidelined herself for the last month, obsessing over Twitter and Elon Musk, ranting against him on Twitter and saying for a month that she was going to leave. And I like Chancery Daily for her opinions on the court, her knowledge, the no-nonsense knowledge that she brings. But I could see her unraveling over Elon and Twitter. And when Threads or whatever else, you know, she's got a whole Substack and Mastodon, all these other avenues. Twitter was never her main thing. She's got a newsletter she publishes to attorneys so they can keep up with what's going on in the Delaware Chancery Court. She finally just said, screw Twitter. I hate Elon. I'm out of here. That is why she's gone, not because of AMC. Okay. Everybody thinks everything that happens in this world is about AMC. Someone even said the actors are going on strike so that AMC has cover to file bankruptcy. I kid you not, Johnny.
Yeah.
Chancery Daily left.
I believe you.
She left Twitter because she does not like Elon Musk. You can pull up her other social media and get all of her thoughts in 20 other locations. She did not leave because of Twitter, because of AMC. And the fact that people jump on that and try and throw her under the bus when her social media presence that was always been there for the last 10 years is still there, gives you an insight into the conspiracy mind of some of these emotional, twisted, panty little incels out there that are trying to throw her under the bus. All of her information is still available, just not on Twitter. So stop with that. Trying to say she left because of AMC. She was suspect. You're suspect because you can't go look at any of her other social media. It's just ridiculous. And can we just stop with the incessant coverage of the lawsuit and the docket and let the judge put out her decision, and then we can talk about it again? What is up with these no voters that they can't stop talking about a lawsuit where the hearing is done? How many years are they going to be doing that?
I don't know, but there's nothing we can do now to change anything. It's all up in the judge's mind. I mean, it's locked and sealed in her head until she comes out and makes a decision. By the way, Yuka Frita, thank you very much, man. Appreciate you. Much love. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. I agree.
Let's put up this. This is the spreadsheet that calculates what the post reverse split price is going to be. So how is it calculated? This spreadsheet pulls the current price of AMC and APE here on the left, $4.33 and $1.91 closing on Friday. I've got the APE shares outstanding might not be exactly correct. It's probably, I think it's 916 million, something like that. It doesn't matter, but it's not going to throw it off by more than a couple pennies. But you got to take the shares outstanding and the market caps, which is just over 4 billion. And as I said at the beginning of this broadcast, the market cap is not magically going to jump because of a reverse split. So if the market cap is the same, you're going to divide the outstanding shares by 10, and that will yield your post reverse split price. So it's roughly around $27 right now. If you add in the award to AMC holders from the settlement, which is one extra share for 7.5, that will actually increase the shares outstanding for AMC, and that will drop this by about $1. So when I say $26 to $28, that will be the post reverse split price. Now, a lot of people are freaking the fuck out when I'm saying this on Twitter right now, because they are realizing what I've been saying, Johnny, what we've been saying for months, that the smart buy was APE. Because why? You're holding AMC at $43, and you're going to wake up after the reverse split and it's going to be 27. Why is that? Because you got twice the float coming in from APE at a lower price, and the market cap is not going to change. The combined market cap is not magically going to go to $6 billion. You're not going to add these two together. Why, after a reverse split, would AMC jump from a 4 billion market cap to 6 billion? Give me any logical reason why that would happen. A 50% increase in market cap. No. Johnny, I've had many.
Look, we talked about.
I've had many intelligent people. I've had many intelligent people look at this and say I'm exactly correct. I've had many hopium rainbow believers say this is bullshit, and I'm getting blocked by more and more apes on Twitter because I'm not telling them what they want to hear. But I'd rather tell you the truth and the reality so you're prepared when you wake up and it's trading at $28. Even Adam Aaron told you it's going to be trading at 30. The price has fallen since he said that. That's why it's at 27 now. Go ahead, Johnny.
Yeah. And this thesis has been, out there for a little bit, right? And it was asked last night. Someone asked me about it and what my thoughts were. Look, I'm not telling anybody what to do anymore with any of their funds. I said this in the live chat the other night. And I mean that. You know, if you want to know what I'm doing, that's one thing, right? But as far as telling you guys how this thing now, Tony breaking it down here, the way that he did break this down makes sense, right? That we're not going to have a massive jump in the market cap like some people are saying. Look, and I Tony, but correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you have some CPAs check these numbers on this or no?
CPAs have looked at it, yes.
Okay,
But
all right.
I mean,
So
but this is an exercise in what is common sense, right? You could make an argument. I could plug in some other prices here, like if AMC were magically to jump to 6 and APE was to jump to 6. Well, let's lower them. Let's say, you see how the market cap's changing on the right here. If we said that it was
Yes.
gonna be a post reverse split price of $40, what do I got to make these? I can play around, see how this changes right here. $3. What do I got to make it at? 37, 550. Trying to get close to $40 post reverse split. That's
There
a
you go.
6 billion market cap, right? If you want to say
Yep, right
AMC is going to jump to 550 and APE's going to jump to 325 so that we get a $40 reverse split, that is imputing a $6 billion market cap. Tell me why, just because of reverse split, we're going to get a 50% increase in market cap. If
There's
you think
absolutely
it's
no
going to
reason.
be 40 after reverse split, you must be able to answer that question. I don't see any logical explanation why we're going to wake up one morning and have a 50% market cap increase. But the reason people think that is because they're stuck on this idea that you must add these two prices together. And I'm going to submit that that is not a correct assessment, which is why Adam Aaron told you a month or two ago, $30 when AMC was at $5. Because he knows that you take the outstanding shares and divide the market cap by that. I get it. It's not a popular message. It's going to rock some people's world. If you need to block me, go ahead and block me on Twitter. But I'm very patient, and I'm 99.9% sure that if you are patient, you will find I'm absolutely correct here. And then what happens once it starts trading that morning, whatever number I'm telling you is going to change in a millisecond as the trading starts. It could start at $27 and go up to 30, go up to 40, drop to 20. I don't know. Depends on the date, the timing, what else is going on. If someone's covering, if someone's shorting.
Someone asked me the other day, Tony, which would I rather have? Would I rather have that announcement come before market open or after market close? What's your thought on that?
After market
Do you think
close.
it matters?
I'd prefer
okay.
after market close.
How come?
So that we all have time to assimilate what's going to happen in the morning and be up in the morning and be ready for it.
I know. Yeah.
I think that once we know that the judge drops her decision, if it comes after hours, hopefully it's after extended hours trading is done, but there's no guarantee of that even. Once the news drops and people are able to trade, you're going to see massive volatility immediately.
You would think, right?
Yep. And that will include
upon conversion concluding.
I think on the announcement of the judge dropping her decision, you're going to see an immediate drop in AMC and an immediate push up in APE. And then when the reverse split and the conversion happens,
you think we're good.
When the reverse split and conversion is enacted, you're going to see a whole different level of volatility, which I don't have any prediction for that. Who the fuck knows?
Which which is really what I think is really on people's minds, right? Is the announcements are definitely going to drive the price, but what's going to happen when actually the deed itself is done, right? That's what I want to know. Do you think we're talking days away from a decision? You think we're going to have one by the next week?
My hope was end of July, but I can't tell you a date. 24 the money says $27 is $270 post pre-split. It is. If all you're holding is AMC, $27 is it is going to be a massive drop, which is why I've been saying forever to hold your ape or buy ape when it was especially under $1. I mean, if you bought ape under $1, when we've been talking about it all this time, you are sitting pretty right now at $1.90, and you're going to be sitting even prettier after conversion when it runs to $270, $27. If you listen to the people that said ape sucks, you must hate ape, Adam Aaron is a criminal, and all you're holding is AMC, you're about to get reamed, in my opinion, not financial advice. And yeah, you should be mad, not at Adam Aaron. You should be mad at all the people that told you to sell ape. You had a chance to buy ape for under 70 cents. You'd be up 200-300% right now. But no, people told you ape sucked, and you believed it. I was the shill. Okay.
I do remember people yelling to sell ape, but I remember it was people like Wrench Capital, Meet Kevin.
Oh, all the Adam Aaron haters, all the Adam Aaron hater clickbaiters have been saying until the last couple weeks when they finally saw the light. They've been saying for a year, for 7-8 months, get rid of ape. Ape is evil. Ape is illegal. All these things. Well, only now a couple of them are starting to, I'm starting to buy ape. Ape is the way. Ape is the way. It's funny. It's funny to see them come over to the ape is the way side at the last minute. You left 200% profit on the table by listening to that bullshit months ago. And, if you were down in this play, wouldn't it have been nice to listen to someone like Massalorian or Tony who've been telling you to buy ape under $1? Were we the shills when it's at $1.90 now, about to go to $2.70? Were we the shills? Were we the evil people, or were we trying to help you recognize a chance to make some money on this play? Only you can decide.
And let's just say one more thing that I think that everyone can understand. None of us wanted to be in this position a long time ago, right? None of us wanted to be where we are right now. None of us wanted to be hanging on, waiting for a judge now to make a decision on a settlement for 3.5 million, however many investors out there, that's going to swing a stock price make a stock price swing violently, possibly. Like, it's just, we've been dealt a pretty shitty hand, and we're doing the best that we've, as retail investors, with the information we have and what we've been able to figure out on the way as we've come along here. We are making the best judgments and adjustments that we can on the fly. So as these things come up, we try to bring it to the forefront, let you guys know about it, bring it up here, discuss it. And that's all we can do, right, guys? We can't make the decisions for you on what to buy, what to sell, when, and where. We just can't.
And we haven't gotten everything. We haven't gotten everything right. When ape came out back in August of last year, I thought retail would buy it, we weren't expecting all these big influencers that channels much bigger than us. Meet Kevin, Wrench, Matt. I don't even know how many, a million viewers Meet Kevin has, like big influencers coming out saying to sell it. And then on top of that, we didn't know, the AMC knew that all of the big institutions were going to be forced to sell APE. If I would have known that, I would have had a different opinion about holding APE. But guess what? Sometimes you make mistakes, you live and learn, won't make that mistake again, not hiding from that mistake. But there was a chance for retribution on that. We knew that eventually APE would convert, right? You had a golden opportunity under $1 to buy APE, even if you didn't sell it at $6 or 10 or 5 or 4 or 3 or 2. There was a chance to go in and buy it super cheap relative to AMC, and you'd be sitting really, really pretty right now, assuming the settlement goes through. And by the way, if the settlement doesn't go through, anyone who's holding APE is probably going to get wiped out, right?
Hey, I'll go all the way back to 2021 and say that I was 100% wrong, that we should have probably let AMC have some shares back then when the price was extremely high, and had them build up a nice big nest egg so that when we ever got to a stretch in time that we thought, oh man, the cash balance doesn't look too good and we need to start worrying about receipts and box office numbers. I wish we had never had to worry about getting to that point, but that was a life lesson learned. Right?
I was against the dilution then too, but I wasn't thinking I'd still be in this stock in 2023. I wasn't thinking that anybody would be, right? But then the economy crashed and the market crashed, yada, yada, yada. So look, same with you, Johnny. I voted no, or I would have voted no on the dilution in 2021. And in retrospect, that would have been a bad decision.
Mm-hmm.
And I still hear people talking about that. They're trying to throw Adam Aaron under the bus. Oh, he pulled the vote. He did pull the vote because he knew 50% of common stockholders were not going to show up. The vote would have passed. If you just looked at the percentage of yes versus no, it would have passed in 2021. He pulled the vote because he was not going to have 50% of common vote. They've never had, in the last 3 years, 50% of common vote. And that's what he needed. That's why he pulled the vote. The no voters keep on trying to twist. Why did Adam Aaron pull the vote? He pulled it because you guys don't show up to vote. We don't show up to vote. And he knew that he wasn't going to get more than half of shareholders to vote. And so there was no point in taking an L on that one. Even if 70% that voted were a yes and 30% were a no, if half of 516 million did not show up, it would have failed. And they routinely don't show up. That's why he pulled it. One Big A says, why would you hold any AMC going into the reverse split? Makes no sense. I just present the information. I'm never here to tell people to buy, sell, or hold. I present the info. I give you my due diligence, my logic, my reasoning. You guys got to make your own decisions about what you do. People have asked me about this offline, and they said, okay, I see what you're saying. It makes sense what you're saying. I still want to hold. That's fine. You make your own decisions, and I back you up whatever you want to do. I'm not here to sway anybody, but I would feel remiss if I didn't at least cover it and let people think about it. Go bounce my info off of your best CPA or person who actually understands finance and see if it makes sense. I present the info for you guys to think about and do your own DD on, because it's not being talked about in too many circles. I see everyone talking about, we just add the price together and that'll be the post, or, the post price. I do not agree. And I'm not trying to sway anybody to anything. I just feel an obligation to provide you how I'm viewing it. That's why you're on this channel, to hear my thoughts. Michael Dismeyer says, does AMC have to file with the SEC again before the split to be approved? Yes, they have to file the paperwork to enact it, right? And I don't remember the date, Michael, but I remember Adam Aaron saying in public that he was going to have all the paperwork pre-filed. I wish I could remember what date or what setting that was. Someone asked him about that. He said, we will have all the paperwork pre-filed pending the judge's written opinion. What does that mean? Because of the, we got the 10-day rule and the 20-day rule. That I can't tell you 100%. I don't know. I'm assuming, this is just my guess, when he says he's going to have the paperwork pre-filed, that he is front running the 20-day rule. That by pre-filing, and I could be wrong. It's okay if you can prove me wrong, then show me. It's just my guess that by pre-filing, he is jump starting that 20-day rule. The notice is already there. The notice is pending the judge's decision, flip the switch, NYSE, OCC. So my expectation, and I could be wrong, is that once we get the judge's decision, you will see a very timely bloop, and you'll see the reverse split and conversion enacted. If I'm wrong, and I could be wrong, then it could be up to 20 days. So that's a matter of debate. I don't have I would not bet money that I'm correct, but I have a sneaking suspicion that Adam dropped that hint about he was going to pre-file the paperwork to let us know that it was going to drop, the enactment of the RSC was going to happen quickly. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Richie Rich says he sold ape shares to sell AMC puts. When I first started reading that, I thought you said you were buying puts. Let's talk about buying puts for a second, because we talked about this a couple nights ago. You're going to hear a lot of people telling you that they're buying puts into the reverse split and conversion because they think the price is going to drop on a dilution announcement. If you are thinking that that is a strategy that you're going to employ, or if you're listening to those people, I want you to look at the implied volatility, which is approaching all-time highs right now. And I want you to run some scenarios through a tool like Option Profit Calculator or optionstrat.com and see if, based on the price that you think it's going to drop to, if you are a person, and I'm not advocating this, I looked at it and buying puts makes no sense to me. But I want you to do the work yourself. Go use Option Profit Calculator or Option Strat. Put in your put trade. Look at how far the price would need to drop for you to get a profit. I think you're going to be shocked. And I think that a lot of people buying puts are going to be wasting their money. Selling puts, on the other hand, the gentleman said, selling puts, you want to be selling options into high IV. That is actually the smarter trade. Whether you're selling calls or selling puts, when IV is high, then that is the time to be selling options. So as you're listening to these people saying they're going to buy puts. I want you to do the work to understand what you're buying before you just blindly listen to these people.
What are you talking about? Implied volatility?
Yeah, someone said he's been selling puts, and I was just using that as a moment to talk about what I know is going to be all the clickbaiters saying, "Oh, I'm so mad at Adam Aaron, I'm buying puts."
Okay.
I'm pretty sure all those people will get wiped out on their puts, buying those puts. It's not
Be
going to,
careful.
yeah, because the IV is so high. That's like an artificial inflation of the price, because the market already thinks that the price is going to go down. So the price has been essentially bumped up, and you're not going to make a profit on those unless it really just tanks. So don't let me talk you in or out of a trade. I just want you, before you blindly do something, to use a tool like Options Profit Calculator or optionsstrat.com and model the trade yourself so that you can decide in an informed manner. Please don't just listen to someone and make a trade.
Thank you, Maggie. Yeah, good point, T. Good point, T. Michael says AMC has hit max pain every Friday without missing a beat. Is that true? Every Friday? Pretty much, right?
I haven't even been looking at max pain. I haven't been looking at short interest. I know
Okay.
AMC is like 28%. Let's talk about short interest for a second. AMC is like 27, 28% short. APE is like 4.5, 5.
5%.
When the conversion happens, just a reminder, we've talked about this many times, all that float of APE is going to come over to AMC, right? With that very low short interest and 2x the float, they're going to combine. Guys, you're going to see the short interest on AMC drop from 28% to about 8%, 9%. I want you to be aware of that, because the clickbaiters are going to tell you the short's covered. We told you. See, look, the short interest just dropped. It's just because a ticker with a very low short interest and a very high float combined with one that had the opposite. And APE is going to overwhelm AMC in terms of the percentage. It's just math. It's not hard. And so be aware that you'll see a couple days after the reverse split conversion, when Ortex updates, you'll see a huge drop in the short interest percentage. Doesn't mean that there's less shorts. Does not mean that there's less shorts. Just as
the overall percentage is going to drop. That number, right?
The percentage of the combined floats is now different, because APE's float was 2x AMC and 1/5 the short. So that is math. You can do the math. And that is why the cost to borrow is high, because they know this is coming. The cost to borrow will flatten out to almost nothing after the reverse split conversion. So if you're hopeful for a short squeeze, just to be blunt, the best time for that to happen is before the reverse split conversion, right? Everyone that's holding
100%.
AMC, all of us absolutely would prefer some unicorn event before the reverse split conversion. But if that unicorn event does not happen, then the high short interest and the high cost to borrow will not matter. And I see this happen on many stocks that are diluting, where they run the cost to borrow up and the short interest up, because they know the company's diluting and it's going to all change in a couple days. So they're basically not scared. They are at risk. They are at risk. They're taking a risk. They're taking a calculated risk, and they could be fucked. The shorts could be screwed if a unicorn happens. So, but that's what's going on. They are on the hook. They can be squoze. But if the judge's decision drops on Monday, the whole game changes.
In a heartbeat. Yeah. I think people should be ready for that, right? Be ready for anything, but be ready for that judgment to come down. Keep your eye on the chart when that does happen. I don't know.
Bob says
I think you're right, T.
Bob
I was
says
going to
if
say,
one,
I'm sorry. I was going to say, I think you're right about it probably taking another 2 weeks. I don't see any reason why the judge would want to rush this, right? Although
the judge is on
Good.
another case until July 18th. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. So, okay,
Yeah.
she is? Okay. Oh, okay. So that's okay. All right. Well, that's okay.
So if and the rest of her month of July schedule hasn't been published yet, but I saw that on the next week she's on a case till the 18th, and then nothing for the rest of the week. I don't know about the remaining weeks of July, but let's just assume she has no other cases for the rest of July. If that is true, then I hope that she goes off to her cabin in the woods and writes up the whatever she has to finish on AMC, and we get something by the end of July. But she's presiding all day over another case since July 10th.
Okay.
So I don't know. Is she going home to her family and taking the night off? Is she sitting up at home at night working till the wee hours, writing up her thoughts? I don't know what she's doing.
Yeah,
but
I know.
But if she has free time after the 18th, maybe she can get this done by the end of the month.
I should go try and track her down. Instead of going north Monday, just go back down to Wilmington. Man, I tell you, Wilmington was a rough city, T. Wilmington, Delaware.
It was a what city?
It's a rough city.
Really?
It's a little rough around the edges, yeah. For Joe Biden's hometown or home state, it's a little rough around the edges.
I imagined it as a quaint colonial town.
No. Wilmington, Delaware? No. No, it's very contemporary. Matter of fact, I mean, you know, if you ask me, Philly and Boston are way more historically, architecturally set back in that time period. You know, that nice late 1700s, early 1800s architecture all over the city. Wilmington, Delaware is not where it's at. I can tell you that. Yeah, someone said Artie used to buy his heroin in Delaware. Now I know why. Artie Lang from the Howard Stern show.
I was going to say, is that the Artie? I don't know the last name, but I knew Artie from Howard Stern. That was his last name.
Yeah, his last name was Lang. But yeah, he used to talk about driving from Jersey to Delaware to get heroin. Oh, guys. Funny.
Tell Williams says you guys will never do anything about the crime. I tell there are hundreds, thousands of people doing something about the crime on a daily basis, filing lawsuits against FINRA, talking to congressmen, badgering Gary Gensler incessantly. You need to be patient, because until Congress forces change on the regulatory agencies, you need to essentially change Congress. Stop putting in these people that are in the deep pockets of Wall Street and the big money firms. Until you have congressional change, you're in for a decades-long fight against the crime. What can we do with a couple thousand people watching our live streams? We complain about it, but so do tens of thousands of other people on a daily basis for the last 3 years. It's going to be a long fight. And the best thing I think you can do is get these crooks out of Congress and put in people that back retail traders. But good luck with that. What do you think, Johnny?
If I could run for Congress just to go in for 2 years, so I could slip in a piece of legislation to clean up all these agencies, make it mandatory that everything needs to be linked to a blockchain, or has to be, hooked into blockchain technology so that there can be no missing shares anywhere, no rehypothecation, no more of this nonsense, right? To bring that to a minimum, if not complete halt. Like, if I knew I could do that, I would do it. I think I would take the sacrifice to have to go out and run for Congress if I knew I could get a bill in to pass. The only problem is a first freshman year congressman with no pull behind him is not walking into the Senate floor and getting a bill like that passed. It's just not going to happen.
You'd be that one guy that has your bill immediately tabled.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
We need to change out a lot of them. We need to change out a lot of them.
And Tony, everyone would back you. Right. No, that's another thing, right? Another thing. But you'd get everyone to back you until push came to shove, right? So you would be, all the prep would be there, just like we were promised how many things from the Biden administration that have not happened. And you can say that for every administration through history. But let's talk about this one that we're in right now. $15 minimum wage, universal health care, codifying Roe versus Wade, all these things they said they were going to do, haven't done any of them. And, people can talk a good game when they are trying to get votes. It matters what happens after you get elected and actually put in your seat. Do you finish the game at that point? And it seems like that's where our politicians these days fall short on a consistent basis, is not being able to relay the American people's message when they actually get onto the floor and in the halls of Congress. And, that's what I think needs to change. The biggest change we need.
I see a couple of people asking about Bitcoin and XRP. I sold my XRP a couple of years ago. Have not been back in it. Obviously, people that were buying it up into this recent run up, you're well positioned right now. If that was me, if you're just asking my opinion, I would have taken profits on that bump a couple days ago. And I don't plan on covering XRP because it ran up and it's been trading flat for the past couple days. So that was a fantastic profit opportunity. And there's going to be people providing coverage of it and telling you it's going to the moon from here. But I'm going to have the same thought that I have on XRP as any stock. If you got in cheap and you had an opportunity handed to you to take profits, be smart and take some profits. At least take your bag off the table, right? Get your money back. If you want to let the house money run, okay. But if it languishes from here, or if crypto doesn't have another rally for another year, do you want to be sitting on that? I do think that there will be another crypto rally. I just don't know the timing of it. And so that's my thoughts on Bitcoin. I think there's big institutions coming into crypto for a reason. I think there'll be more manipulation, pump and dumps on crypto where they tell you now's the time to buy crypto. You want to be in when people are most negative on it, and then just be patient.
Gee, I don't know if I've ever asked this before. What are your thoughts on like Mara and Riot and some of those other crypto, not exchanges, but some of those other crypto tickers? Have you ever looked into those? What are your thoughts on them?
I've looked at them. They seem to be more volatile than the underlying asset, right? So yes, they go up a higher percentage than the cryptos, but when things go bad, they go down a higher percentage.
And harder.
Right. So that's the danger. And I just personally don't plan on, I don't know if I ever plan on covering those stocks because of that volatility, but I've always said I prefer to own the underlying asset. I'd rather just trade Bitcoin or Ethereum or something than a mining company. But yeah, as I look at the charts, if you got in Mara when it was cheap and then crypto had a resurgence, you actually outperformed Bitcoin running up by owning Mara. But I've also seen the downsides be punishing also.
Yeah. So you can get absolutely taken behind the woodshed.
I would
if
say
you make a wrong move.
don't fall in love with those companies. Play them on momentum, and when you
Be ready.
when you
Yep.
got a profit, take it.
Yep. Be ready to kiss it goodbye if you see a nice run, right? Be ready to just say, hey, you know what? I'm done. This is plenty here. I'm taking this whatever, 25% run and be done with it, right? But be careful. Be careful, that's all. But yeah, swinging it seems like the way. Someone says, "How about Nvidia?" Do you have any thoughts on Nvidia, T? It's nothing I've ever traded before. Have you?
I was thinking that Nvidia might be a good short or put opportunity, but I haven't dug into. I've just been looking at the chart. Let me bring it up here. It's at 480, Johnny. It was at the beginning of this year. It was at 137. So I just fundamentally asked myself, have things changed so much at NVIDIA to justify a 3x on the price? I don't know that I have I don't know that I have a definitive answer for you on that. And that is why I have not done a trade on NVIDIA. But the higher I see this chart going, the more I'm thinking to myself, I need to look into either buying puts or doing my very first short ever on a company, because it's looking a little frothy.
Yeah, because at some point there's got to be a pull coming.
It's looking a little frothy, right? But I can't say with certainty that it's overdone because I haven't looked at their financial statements.
I mean, regardless of over the last month, they're up almost 7%. You know what I mean, T? I mean,
not just. I mean, even in the last 6 months. I mean, they're outperforming everything. But I don't know. I'll add. How about I add that onto my agenda for next week for a deep dive, because I want to know too. I mean, when I see charts doing like that, I'm like, there's got to be there's got to be an opportunity here. Either the momentum is going to keep running, like remember when Tesla ran to 1200, or it's going to come crashing. It's going to come crashing down. I don't care which. If NVIDIA wants to go to 1,000, if I could get on at 480, that's cool with me. I just got to decide which side of the trade to get on.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, that just looking at the chart. You don't see many charts like that, especially these days.
One Big A says it is in price discovery. Okay. Yeah, I'll let y'all know if I have a chance to dive into it a little deeper last week. And I don't care which way it goes. Like I said, if I can ride momentum up, that's cool. If it's just going to languish, then I'll start paying more attention to the chart. And if I dive into it and decide that it's going to go down, then I would look at puts and check the IV and see if there's any opportunity there. But I remember looking at puts on Tesla at 1,200 and they were stupidly priced and I did not buy them. And then I watched Matt Kors buy puts, and then he was wondering weeks later why Tesla had fallen so much and he was still in the red on his puts. Because you didn't look at the IV, my friend. You thought you had a no-brainer idea, but you didn't do the rest of the work.
This Matt Kors we're talking about?
Yeah.
Those buying puts on Tesla?
He bought puts on Tesla at the top.
All right. Well, I don't know. You think there's still room in NVIDIA to run?
I mean, I didn't think that Tesla would run to 1,200. I made a lot of money on that run on Tesla, but I sold, I forget what, at 800 or so. And then I saw it kept going. So I bought calls and rode it the rest of the way up. Right? Look, if you called something too early and got out and it's still going, you can still play it. But I didn't want to reinvest that much money. I had just locked in all my gains. I was like, let me take a little bit of
Why
this,
would you?
buy some calls, and if it keeps going, I'll reap the reward. So I banged that one twice. Right? I made money on it twice, but so I have no problem getting out and then getting back in. But some, you know, who knows with NVIDIA?
Yeah. The Taiwan thing is an intangible that I just the whole volatility of that situation, that geopolitical situation. Same for Neo and I know you've talked about that before in the past, that you got rid of a lot of your Chinese stocks, and I still have a little Neo left, but you know, it's not the most. I don't have a lot of it or nearly as much as I did, just because of that volatility and not knowing what's happening with China and underreporting of numbers and overreporting of numbers and missing numbers and everything else you can imagine that goes on with these Chinese companies that are backed by the CCCP, right? So,
Salty Ape has a question here. I see in the comments. I was waiting for a moment to get to you, and Stephen wants us to answer it also. He's asking, after the conversion, if the short interest on APE is 4%, would it be 40% after the reverse split? No, because short interest is a percentage. It's not an absolute. So if the float is $1 billion and the short interest is 4% of that, and then you shrink the float from, I'm just talking APE, if you reverse split the float by a factor of 10, well, the numerator and the denominator are both shrinking by a factor of 10. So the end result is still 4%. I hope that makes sense. In order for it to jump from 4 to 40, you would have to assume that the outstanding shares dropped, but the number of shares short did not drop. And that won't happen. The number of shares short will drop by a factor of 10, and the outstanding shares will drop by a factor of 10. Therefore, the ratio, the 4%, remains intact. And then on top of that,
so the percentage never changes.
On top of that, you'll be combining it with AMC. And so APE ceases to be relevant. Now you got a 4% of $1 billion and 28% of $500,000. And the math on that roughly will be 9% short. I haven't run it through a calculator, but roughly 9%.
Oh man.
You ready to wrap up, Johnny? We want to take a couple more questions?
Yeah, I'm going to I'm gonna finish. I gotta finish working on a video tonight. That I'm gonna put up for tomorrow. Just talking about Adam Aaron and some of the things that he said when Iger came back and my issues with Disney. I've been cutting some clips away today. I have that clip from the crazy man there, so I wanna get that video finished and cut up. I haven't uploaded a video in a long time, but I do want to say thank you to a bunch of people. I know you get your dinner ready right now. Is that what I hear in the background?
She came home from the grocery store, so she was putting stuff up. I had a massive hamburger that I made at home at 4 o'clock today. I've been on a hamburger kick this week since I started back at the gym. I can have a couple carbs, and my treat was a whole wheat hamburger bun. So I've been making these. I've been making these gourmet hamburgers, and I don't know if anybody cares to see them. I can post a photo, a different one each day. So I'm done eating. I had one meal today. It was 1,300 calories, 100 grams fat, 40 grams protein, maybe 60 grams protein, and I think 30 or 40 net carbs. But anyways, no, not having dinner. Before you say your thank yous, can we answer Jim Mortal's question? What would be the fate for the unconverted 4 billion preferred shares of AMC during conversion? So remember, guys, there were 50 million preferred shares that have been in AMC's charter since it went public. Blank check preferred stock. And they took 10 million of those and created APE. The other 40 million preferred shares were never activated. They're still sitting out there. 40 million unactivated, ready to tap preferred shares, blank check preferred stock. So 10 million were activated. When the conversion happens, those will go away. But so we got 40 million, we got 10 million that will become AMC. But in the very bottom addendum to the vote that passed, there was a little footnote that says if everything passes, we're going to add 10 million preferred back to our wallet. Back to Johnny, did you mean to? Oh, he's on a phone call. Shoot me a message when you're ready to come back, Johnny. They will go back to having 50 million blank check preferred stock after the conversion. So that is an anti-takeover provision, and they'll have those in their back pocket, just like they have since 2013. Okay, he says he's good to go.
Yeah, I'm good to go. I don't know what just kicked me off.
G Immortal, hopefully that answers your question. There were never, I've heard people say there were 5 billion APE. There were never 5 billion APE. That is just bad DD. There was 1 billion APE. There was 10 million activated preferred shares. 40 million were never touched. They've always been sitting there, and we'll go back to 50 million after the conversion.
Yeah. I'm gonna be glad to get that float number down. It's gonna be nice to have a low float again.
TF Hatter's got a good question. What is the risk for a dilution after the reverse split? This is not going to be popular. This is not going to be
very likely.
It's not going to be a popular answer. So if you only want rainbows and unicorns, turn off your speakers right now. We know that the company needs to raise money, to have insurance, to have some cash backup. At least they want the opportunity to raise cash, right? We don't know if he is going to raise cash, but we know they'll have the opportunity to raise cash. I would say, to answer your question, what is the risk of dilution? I'd say it's pretty high. Almost, in my book, if I had to guess, near 100% that he's going to do some dilution, because they have less than 500 million left in cash. And I think that in Q3 and Q4, the company will lose money this year. So me thinking that, if I was the CEO, I'd want some cash raise right after the reverse split. How many would he dilute? I don't know. I would prefer it be less. I hear all the no voters are telling you the worst case. He's going to dilute 400 million shares. If he does, God damn it, that would be straight up idiotic, because he would crash the price to damn near zero. Please, Lord, baby Jesus.
I hope to God he doesn't do that.
Please, Lord, baby Jesus, do not announce a prospectus with 400 million shares. If he does something reasonable, like 50 million or 100 million, I think 100 million is a reasonable number. That's what I would expect. If you want my opinion of what do I expect a rather quick prospectus dropped of 100 million shares. I don't know if I will be right, guys. So don't come at me later and say, you told us it was going to be 100 million and he did 250. I don't know. But if I was him, that's what I would be looking at. 100 million relatively quickly.
Yeah. Yes. Erase some debt.
And I do expect that when a dilution announcement drops, that the price will fall. Do you know why, Johnny?
Because dilution usually does that.
But why does it do that? It does that because
there's more
there's more shares, right? your ownership
shares in the
percentage,
market.
if they're, let's just say if the float is 150 million and he does a prospectus for 150 million, he just devalued all the existing shares by the same
By
amount.
half.
He decreased your ownership by half. So it's reasonable to expect a pretty significant drop in the price, because price is per share, right? When we look at a price on a broker, that is the price per share. And he's giving you a heads up that the per share is about to double. So you can expect, I think it's reasonable, not shilly, not trolly. I'm not paid by a hedge fund. I think I'm being reasonable to tell you.
No, it's coming. It's coming.
I know, but when I talk about this on Twitter, they hate it. Yeah, he's just spreading FUD. No, I'm spreading logic. If dilution is announced, it's reasonable to expect that the price might fall. I don't know what's going to happen. What if Q2 earnings is blowout good numbers, right? And then in the midst of a FOMO run up of that, he drops a dilution announcement. It might be less impactful. You know what I'm saying, Johnny? He froze. If Q2 earnings is a blowout and then he drops the dilution announcement, it may have less impact. So it's just hard for me to predict the timing of all of these dates and when certain things drop. So I would say nobody knows. I don't know for sure. And anyone who's telling you they know exactly what is going to happen is full of it. But if I look at things in isolation, I can tell you that typically dilution has some negative price impact. Ideally, there'd be a great Q2 earnings that he drops that announcement into. We'll see. Godspeed to us all, Ed Stock Karam says.
Can you hear me?
You were freezing for a second, but I can hear you now.
Okay, you're freezing too in between, just to let you know. You're freezing in between my cuts.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So just to wrap it up and put the best view on it possible, what I would like to see is the judge drop her settlement agreement, the reverse split conversion, then a blowout Q2 earnings, and then a dilution announcement. That would be the order of events I would prefer to get the best pop on the price. If he does a dilution announcement into a run-up, would that stop the run-up? Yes, it would. It would tend to slow down any run-up. So if it is that order of events, plan accordingly. Steven says, last time we checked, AMC had 495 million in cash. That was at the end of March. If I had to guess, how much do we have right now? Steven, good question. I think that we turned a profit this quarter. So I'm going to guess that we still have around 495 million, maybe a little bit extra, which is good, right?
That would be nice. To get back to 500 million again would be nice. I feel a lot more comfortable at that number. That's for sure.
But Q3 and Q4, I think we will see the cash drawn down. And that makes me even more worried about 2024 with this Writer and Actors Guild strike. If AMC doesn't have the opportunity to at least think about raising cash, it becomes a really easy short for the bad guys to say Writers Guild, Actors Guild, projects getting pushed, company has no access to cash, cinemas are fucked. So I'll wrap up. Unless I see another question, I'm going to wrap up by saying, do your part on social media to pressure the the big money studios to pay people fairly and resolve this AI thing in a fair manner. And let's hope that the good guys win, the small guys, the unions. Let's hope that they win and that it's resolved quickly. The quicker this is done, the less I got to spend sleepless nights worrying about 2024.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, let's get that, bring that to an end as quickly as possible, for sure, for everyone's benefit. The longer this goes on, so the sooner we get this over with, the better.
James and Candace.
T, so you're breaking up like crazy. I don't know. I didn't hear a lot of the last things you just said.
Am I breaking up for the audience or just for Massalorian? James and Candace say, didn't AMC just buy another theater? Yeah, they're buying theaters and they're closing theaters. AMC is actively closing non-performing locations, and they are looking to add better locations. So you're going to see every quarter new additions and deletions from the fleet of theaters. Absolutely. We want them to have a fleet of profitable locations, and we want them to dump old, expensive to upgrade, money losing locations. That is good. Mass, I think it's just your connection that's getting buggy there.
It is me. It is me. I'm gonna sign out, T. I'm gonna head to back to the drawing board anyways. I gotta get back to my video.
All right, guys.
But,
thank you for hanging out tonight.
Do this live stream tonight. It's good that we talked about these things. People know what's going on.
Thank you, Johnny, for your time. Thank you to your mods. Thank you to your viewers. Thank you for all the people that super chatted Massalorian on his trip to this week tonight.
Yeah, much love. Thank you, guys.
Thank you to my
Thank
mods.
you for all the support. And
Thank you to the members of the channel, the subs, the people that just dropped in. Hopefully you got some value out of this. I know we're not always here with the popular message, but like I said, my intention is to help you find a way out of this trade, whether you're in it for the long term or you're looking to at least recoup some money into what's about to happen. I want to share my thoughts, even if they're different from other people's. I get it. They're different from a lot, but they are my thoughts. Nobody pays me. Nobody tells me what to say. It's my analysis of the financials, fundamentals, my market experience of what I expect to happen. Am I going to be right or not? I don't know. Stick around for a few more weeks. We'll find out. Johnny.
And I'm just the yes man. Just remember that. I'm just here as the yes man for Tony.
Screw the haters, Johnny. We've both got an army of them. Love you guys. Have a good night. Let's wrap it. Let's do the outro here.
Have a good night, guys. Hopefully you can hear still me.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back.